Hey, it's Ben Wise from ZOAR Fitness, and this is the name game. Workout number 42 is suicide squat. From 0 to 8 minutes on the clock, you are going to be doing an 8-minute AMRAP of 8 shuttle runs of 25 feet each and 8 front squats at 95 or 65 pounds for males and females respectively. On that same running clock, from 12 to 16 minutes, you're going to be establishing a 4-rep max hand release deadlift. And they're going to be scored as 2 separate events. The AMRAP as event 1, the max lift as event 2. So if it was actually scored this way, and well, it is here, but if this was like a test of some kind, if it was a qualifier, if this was like the age group qualifier, if it was the open, if it was a qualifier that you're trying to do for an online competition somewhere, it's really important that we think about with 2 different events, okay, how am I going to strategize this so that I can maximize both of my scores relative to the competition? Not just maximizing both my scores, but maximizing both my scores relative to what the other people who I'm competing against are going to do. So for example, maybe someone like me, I'll think, okay, my deadlift's pretty good, but I'm a smaller person, so I'm guessing that my running is actually probably gonna be better in this workout, ironically enough, and my front squatting. So in that case, maybe I'll kind of go at like 95% instead of 100% on the first part on the AMRAP so that I can get my best score possible on that 4RM deadlift. If you're someone who is a really big, strong guy and you know that you can pull a ton on the deadlift, then go hard on the first part and just see what you got left on that second part, and likely whatever you have left is probably gonna be enough to give you a pretty good placing, and likely you're still gonna get more points accumulated depending how it's scored on that first part. So again, it's not necessarily something that I really want you to game a whole lot here. I don't want you to do these both to the best of your ability when you do them, for me. However, if you're thinking about this in terms of a competition, anytime we compete, we're trying to maximize our placing, maximize our score so that we can finish the best possible, because that's the goal, right? We like to win. All right, let's get into movement standards. The shuttle run. The only standard for the shuttle run, you're gonna put 2 lines down at 0 feet and at 25 feet. So they need to be the outside of those tape lines need to be 25 feet apart. You need to touch past the tape line with your fingers on the ground, or with a finger on the ground. You just gotta touch the ground past the line. And then the other side, it doesn't matter if it's the same hand or the other hand, but you have to touch with one hand past that line. So it doesn't matter how you do it, you gotta touch the ground with at least a finger, some part of your hand, to the ground, and then be able to switch ways. So it does not matter if your feet are over the line or not. Like, if you could kind of stop maybe a touch early and reach past it, and maybe that's good. Maybe it feels like you're reaching where your upper body's sort of leaning a little bit too much. You're gonna have to play with it and figure it out, but the standard is you just gotta touch down some part of your hand to the ground past the line. And then the front squat, again, is pretty simple. Hip crease below the knee. You can hold that bar however you want if it's in your front rack. So front rack meaning it's got to go somewhere across your shoulders. And basically, I don't care if it's in a traditional front rack, if you're crossing your arms, if you're doing a zombie squat, it doesn't really matter. You just got to make sure that you're doing front squats with the bar resting across the front part of your body. For the hand release deadlift, first of all, you cannot rest more than 3 seconds during that hand release. You can't just let it go chill out for a little bit and do it again. It's gotta be 3 seconds or less. And then secondly, you just have to flash whichever way you hold. So like, say even if you're doing a hook rep, you have to flash your hands open, a hand release, and then regret. Same thing, even if it's, if you're doing, a lot of people are gonna be doing a mixed grip, I will be. Yes, you have to release for a second to show that you are letting go and that you've kind of let go of tension, at least with your hands, right? You can keep a brace, or you could like reinitiate a lift, however you want to go about it. However, you just have to show that you're letting go of the bar. And that's what I mean by hand release, because you can't just bounce it and do touch and go reps. Setup is pretty simple. Again, you're gonna put your tape down wherever you can. And since you're running back and forth and it's 8, you always finish at the same side where you started. So you're gonna put your bar somewhere out of the way on the same end that you're starting each time. So again, it's 1 odd, 2 even, 3 odd, 4 even. It'll be coming back to that same spot at 7, at 8. It'll do the same thing. And then you'll do your front squats right there. And then, I mean, you can use the same bar, a different bar if you want. Yeah, but when you use a different bar, you just have to keep in mind that you have to have it kind of preloaded to whatever you want. And that's probably what I would recommend for most people, is just having that bar preloaded with, you know, if you're a guy who's like has a 405 plus deadlift, maybe start with 315, do your first set there, and then build from there. So last thing to think about is you got 4 minutes in between there. It's, you know, you're not gonna be recovered by any means, but you should be able to effectively brace at least for the first rep or 2. Reps 3 and 4 are gonna start getting sketchy on the hand release deadlift, but you should be able to brace hard for at least like a rep or 2. And depending on how quickly you move, we'll see as to how well you hold up and how good your positions are maintained in the last 2 reps there. And then lastly, I'll say if you're someone who doesn't have great positions while you're deadlifting, this isn't like a super important test where you need to just grind it out and go into like a pooping dog posture as you're actually doing these reps. Like, keep it relatively clean for the best that you can while maximizing your score, yeah, to get the best score that you possibly can. So yeah. If you're someone who's just watching this and you are not signed up for the protocol and you'd like to do so, you'd like to check it out, you can get a 7-day free trial if you go to zoarfitness.com/pro-trial. I'll link to it below. Be sure to check it out. For everybody else, best of luck on suicide squat.